Hello, this is the second part for Learning Intention 16, finding the period and amplitude of trig graphs. And this part deserves its own special section because it's about the tan function. And I want to make a few statements about the tan function. So let's consider the graph y equals -5 tan, let's call it pi x on 2. Alright, I'm going to say some things about this graph. First thing I want to say, 5 is not 5 is not the amplitude. Very important. Tan graphs have no amplitude. No amplitude here. The concept of amplitude is meaningless for a tan graph. It's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. Because if you think about what a tan graph looks like and the meaning of the word amplitude, let's sketch a tan graph. We'll do a quick sketch, and if you think about the meaning of amplitude, well, amplitude means height. We're talking about height when we mean amplitude. It's like the loudness of a signal. That's another way to look at it. Let's think about the tan graph and amplitude. So I'm going to sketch the graph of just over one period of y equals tan x. So as an asymptote here at pi on 2, and there, so that's the asymptote x equals pi on 2, and that's the graph of y equals tan x just on over one period. Amplitude doesn't mean anything here because it just goes up to infinity. And it goes down to infinity here, so it goes up and down. 5 is not the amplitude. There's no amplitude. No amplitude. Very important. You can say that this graph is dilated by a factor of 5 from the x-axis. You can say, if you like, that this negative sign is going to result in a reflection in the x-axis, but it's not the amplitude. However, it does have a period. So let's consider the period. It's slightly different, and if you remember, the period is equal to pi on n. So instead of 2 pi on n for sine and cos, here it's pi on n. So let's find the period. Well, that equals pi over pi on 2. Alright, so I've subbed in pi on 2 from here, because that's the coefficient of x. It's a bit sneaky because it's hiding its in a denominator as well, but that's the coefficient of x, and that gets subbed in down here. The 2 jumps to the top, you get 2 pi on pi, and the period is 2. Alright, key things I want you to get out of this. Tan graphs have no amplitude, and the period is a slightly different calculation. And if you have been, thank you for watching.